Welcome to Riverbend Talent on WBGZ. Brought to you by the Halpin Music Company.
Another Riverbend Talent on the Big Z, brought to you by the Halpin Music Company and by Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Town Club. Haven't said Town Club in a while.
All right.
And Sea Shanty Sing-Along already underway down at Morrison's Irish Pub. Goes until 9. Trivia night later tonight at the Conservatory. Starts at 6:30, goes to 8:30. Open mic night later tonight at the Ragin Cajun. Starts at 9. The Truckers start at 7 o'clock tonight at Fast Eddie's. They go to 11. Matt Tall already underway up at George's Pub and Grill in Jerseyville. Dave Mendoza and Greg Dennis later tonight at Deutsch Village Inn in Pontoon Beach. They go from 7 to 11. Mo Pleasure already underway at Patrick's, going until 9 in Granite City. Drew Lance and Guest already underway out at the cabin at Judy Creek in Glen Carbon. They'll go till 9. And Steve Klein started at 5:30 at the Prairie Inn in Dorsey. He goes until 8:30 tonight. And, of course, Experience Live Music Row goes on each and every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. A festival on the main drag in Belleville. Amazing. A lot of those acts underway going until 9 o'clock tonight. And then an open mic at H's Bar down there in Belleville tonight. It doesn't start until 8 o'clock. So there's a Thursday night in the Riverbend. At least what I found was going on.
That's not nothing, man. That's a lot of stuff happening. That's a whole page of stuff on Thursday night.
It is a page of stuff. And speaking of stuff, we got a world champion in the house.
Well, I wouldn't call myself a world champion.
No, not you.
Oh, not me.
I'd call you a world champion. World champ radio host, man.
Oh, man, welcome back to the show, Mr. Well, I started to call you a Christian, but
Either one works.
Because that is your Christian name.
Yes, sir. It is.
And that's what I've been calling you.
That's how I got Chris Exodus, too.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
And so Chris Exodus from Cottage Hills Wrestling Association.
Alliance.
Alliance, okay, sorry. And you guys, I was telling you this, we were talking the other day, when you came on the show, we've had several different local and regional type wrestling, along with Dan Severn and Cowboy Bob Horton, some national guys too. Yeah, Dan Severn's the beast, man.
Beast,
yeah, he is the beast,
the real beast.
And he is. Your story though was one of my favorite of the wrestling stories, and it kind of just got touched on right before we went on air, where you're talking with Dennis about it, and he said it's so much like the rock and roll stories that we hear, the wrestling story, and that's what hit me is that it as you talked about starting in your backyard in Cottage Hills and doing the backyard wrestling, and then going in the garage, making it seem more like you got you got to fit you right, right, and I've got videos that look much old, shop lights held up and actually a DeWalt like speaker that we're actually mixing. You just use what you have available to you and make it happen.
It's
if you really
DIY.
Yeah, well, if you really want to do something, it's not about, I would love to do this under the perfect circumstances. You love to do it, you're going to do it. Yeah. And whether anybody's watching or not, you're going to do it. It doesn't even really matter. You're doing it for the love of it.
But a long time with nobody watching. But I broke my neck with virtually nobody watching.
And that's just it.
I wouldn't change a thing.
But that's just it. You did it because you loved it. You hope somebody would watch and find the art of what you're doing. Yeah. But in the beginning, it was very much a garage band scenario where you're out there doing it every week because you love to do it, and it's like a band rehearsal. It doesn't. Nobody's here, man. We're just doing this because we love to do it.
Yep. In my brother's garage.
Yeah, that was one of my favorites as we were talking about.
It's actually a greenhouse too. So like the weather sucked. So like if it was 100 degrees outside, it's 20 plus degrees. Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible.
But yeah, you worked up and kept at it. Not only that, the other thing, and I'm just kind of touching on some stuff from the last interview before we get into what's happening with you now, and we're going to promote everything you got coming up and talk about what you're into. But I kind of touching back on it because, to be honest, as you sit down here and I look at you, I start remembering the memories start flooding back. And one of the
Good
other
feeling, man. That's all we really have in life that we take with us to the next is our memories, right? So it's like, memories are a great thing. That makes me happy to hear that.
Consciousness is what separates us from the insects. I think. I don't know.
Something like
maybe
that.
not.
Something like
maybe
that.
not. Anyway, no. One of the other things that I really dug about your story, starting out and coming up, is that you wanted to wrestle, and you went to the other wrestling federations, associations, alliances, all of these things, and they all kind of told you the same thing. You're too little.
Yeah, it was a different era, and like guys back then. I mean, I'm a small human being. I'm 5'5". Now I'm 150 pounds. It's the heaviest I've ever been ever.
Thanks to Weight Gain 4000.
Straight up that
Beefcake.
Rise protein, creatine, and a lot of chicken breast, man. That's what I've been doing.
A lot of chicken.
And man, like, I would go and I would like ask around how to do this. We finally got led to a school. We went. Funny enough, that same company in the school that we went to begin with is now our sister company. We work hand in hand with them and their dojo. It's pretty cool.
Is that Dynamo Wrestling?
Yes, sir. Dynamo Pro Wrestling, based out of St. Louis, Missouri. They started, before that, they were known as Gateway Championship Wrestling. You saw names like Matt Seidel, Delirious. There's so many more names that have come out of there. It's a very historic place. All respect to them, too. But like 10 years ago, we just had a difference of opinion of me and my older brother want to do this now, and they wanted us to wait. And in some ways, rightfully so, because I don't think, looking back now, that we were even remotely ready.
Right.
But you talked about like doing it for all those years with nobody watching. It's not just a love, it's passion. It's a passion. And me and my brother, that's just what we've always wanted to do, man. And so we just decided we're going to do it ourselves. We left Dynamo's school, left the whole scene behind us, and started CHWA and created quite a storm over the past decade it's been. But I'm very grateful for all the thunderstorms, because now it's beautiful. It's great.
Yeah.
The scenery's great. So
And let me catch the folks up in Pigpen. Since the last time you were here, you guys had the steady gig going. Last time we talked to you guys, 127 MacArthur in Cottage Hills, where you guys grew up, basically, and I mean that literally. Like you were a kid growing up in Cottage Hills and Forest Homes, and
I live 2 streets away from that building, and then Elride, my older brother, lives 2 streets in the opposite direction. 4 streets from me, 2 streets from the opposite direction. So it was literally in our backyard again.
So you do it like every Sunday back then?
Yeah, we were doing it every Sunday. Doors would open at 3. First bell would be 3:30-ish.
Yep.
And yeah.
And pack the house.
Oh yeah, man, 50. Right around the end of the time we were there for our weekly shows, we were selling $10 tickets for adults, $5 for kids, and we were drawing right around 300 to 400 weekly. And then on our pay-per-view shows, though, the big show at the end of the month, like that Patreon exclusive show, we would draw anywhere over $1,000 sometimes. So there was over 100 people in this little sardine can.
Right.
It was all that energy from that building was great. So I miss it. I don't miss the circumstances we were in with it, but I miss being in a weekly place for sure.
So basically, just one day the storm hits, right? They're like, nope, we're not going to let you keep doing this here.
Well, it was more of with all due respect to the people that own and operate that building still, because they're great human beings and they're good business people. Sometimes the limitations of the sandbox have to be expanded, and when you can't expand that, you got to go to a different playground. Right. So we just decided, we wanted to try to do a few innovative things to not only up the space in the building for our spectators, but also protect some of the building for the owners. They decided that's not what they wanted to do. We found out our lease was coming up, and we just decided to roll the dice and get out of there for right now and try to do something different.
And so I was pumped to see this
All
year.
respect to them, though, because they gave us a home for over 2 years. So shout out to 127. I can't badmouth them.
Right.
And just because circumstances don't work out between 2 parties doesn't mean anybody's bad.
Exactly.
It just means sometimes circumstances
people
don't
like
work
to
out.
bend and twist words, so yeah. But I just like to make sure, because they were great.
Yeah.
They were
We
great.
live in a society where we like our bad guys dead.
Yeah.
And that's where you started the the online show, right?
Well, we've been doing them online, but not Patreon.
Right.
Patreon was cool because
Okay.
that was our pay-per-view. Yeah.
And I think what really benefited you guys is you had a weekly show, and every week you knew, hey, it's time to tune into the wrestling show, which is what we did as kids when we watched wrestling, right?
Wrestling
We knew
at
it
the
was
Chase.
Sunday.
Time.
Yeah.
It would air every single. We'd tape them on Sundays, and they'd air on Thursday night throwdowns.
Right. And so it took you guys a while to find a new location, and that's what's had been now a couple of years, right?
It's going on. We just passed our year mark there at the American Legion in Edwardsville.
Right.
And
Right.
So it's been a little over a year now. It's kind of crazy to think about, actually, how much time has passed in between. You get so caught up doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
So where is the American Legion in Edwardsville? Where about in Edwardsville is that located?
It's right next to the middle school, I believe.
Yeah.
And by the Circle K. I don't have the address because it's a weird address. It's literally like 38 in like 125. It's like this weird.
Yeah. I just didn't know if it was on the main drag.
You
right
remember where
through
the old
town.
high school was?
Yeah.
That's the middle school now.
Okay.
Right across from that,
Yeah, it was
there's a little road that goes up to
the gas
the,
station there.
to the Legion.
Okay.
And you'll see it. There's a sign out front. It is kind of hidden though. It's kind of cool.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that little cut through road that goes from the old high school to the other side of town there.
It's right past that.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
right past that.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right.
If you're coming in from that direction, right?
Right.
So
By the Criminal Justice Building.
But between
That's how I know it.
Another time it's in.
between the Spot and Cottage Hills and the Legion, you guys had a little hiatus where you're trying to find a place, right? So it took a minute.
Back
right?
to the garage.
Well, we've thought about that, but we were looking at a lot of different places, and we decided to instead of try to do what we've always done and just throw a show somewhere, let's try to do this maybe a little more strategic and not lose as much money, right? And let's
Good luck
find
to
a
you,
building that would be the best price with the best thing that we could set up. Look, I want to, and I when I called them, I said I want to rent like a year. Like I want dates for a year. I don't want to just do this by month. Like let's establish some kind of relationship. And so when I called them with that, number one, that got me in the door, which was cool. So because we're fully insured. We have a great insurance policy. Everybody's professionally trained. We always have EMTs at every single show that are licensed, all of the legit stuff. But people hear wrestling and they think of ECW and they think of the ceiling getting set on fire and glass, and they don't want to do it. They think it's too violent. So you have to explain to them kind of what your style more is. And so we took a few months and we called the American Legion. We paid a little bit more to get in there, but it secured us a lot more dates than everywhere else. So, and we've got a great working relationship with them. The lady who, her name's Cheryl, shout out to her if she's listening. She signs my contracts with them when I have to. She came to our last event and she said, coming in, she's never really watched wrestling. She doesn't her boys do, but she doesn't. And she not only subscribed to the YouTube channel, but she's hyped about it now. She knew all the good guys and bad guys, and she was really into it. So great relationship with them. Shout out to the American Legion for letting us run our pirate pro wrestling show out of their building.
And so you guys got a monthly thing going now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So.
We never will be on the second Saturday of ever because we have another company that we don't necessarily work hand in hand with, but that we are very close friends with, named MNWA. They're in St. Louis. They run the second Saturday every month, but we try to make it the third or fourth Saturday every single month. And in April, it's our only Sunday this year, and I believe it's April the 21st.
Okay.
So you say the lady from the American Legion kind of got sucked into it all, where she wasn't into it, but then once she saw it, that's one of the things that I want to just kind of put out there to the listeners, that if you're thinking, man, I'm not really much of a wrestling fan, or like you say, oh, I know people who are into it. Look, go, because it is a fun thing. It's it's a very interactive thing if you want it to be. It doesn't have to be. You can sit and just watch the entertainment.
There's people like that.
And so I was going to say, there are some people that just want to go watch the match. Yeah. But then other people...
They won't even react. You can try. As a performer, you can try to, grab that person who's just sitting there kind of stoic, and they'll just sit... Because they're not there to be part of the show itself. They are there to just watch.
Yeah.
The other people that react, They're just as much as part of the show as we
exactly,
are. And they know that. That's why they have so much fun. It's their show. It's not ours.
It's
easy.
I was taking my daughter for a while, and that was her favorite part, was smack talking. You know, she's a little girl who can smack talk these wrestlers that, you know, and
the wrestlers love it.
I was going to say, they would get into it, and they would talk back, and it becomes, you know, it reminded me as a kid of going to, like, over on the riverboat, the old vaudeville shows or something, where the bad guy would talk to you in the middle of the show, and you're like, oh, you know, you feel part of it. You feel a little more connected to it. But
because the character is no longer a character. You're staring at somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
It makes it real. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's easy to get caught up in that type of energy too. It's much like going to a rock and roll show when you love music and getting caught up in the vibrations. And
the last show,
the same way.
The last show we had, which would have been, I think, last Saturday. There was a lot of new people there that I know they've never seen me before unless they've watched me online. And all the people that do know me, and when I returned last Saturday, that were going crazy and reacting, made everybody else go, oh, this dude, all right. And they all reacted too. Smallest guy in the room, you know? But it's the crowd, you form a connection with them. And then they want to everybody wants to express their emotions. Everybody does it differently. You guys do radio, I'm a wrestler, people make music. The crowd, that's their thing. You know, that's their time. Their boss doesn't matter, their bills don't matter, politics, religion, none of that matters. They are just part of this energy, this thing. Yeah. And it's all theirs. It's great. It's a beautiful thing, man.
And any big sports fan understands what we're saying about music. It's watching, going and watching the football game at the end of the week, man. You can't wait for that because it's your thing. That's that. You can't wait to watch this go down, and you feel connected to it. That's why people who are into that go every.
It's the anticipation of like what's gonna happen. Yeah.
Right. So each week we talk to guests on our show, and we like to pass down to younger people that are interested in getting into things, some of the information. And I think you nailed it earlier when you said, we could have rushed right back into it, but we decided to take our time, focus on what was working prior, right? You knew it had to be a steady thing. Just like you said, you wanted a full year booked, so you had the steady thing going because that worked for you.
Yep.
And so you learned a lot from your past and then took what was working and then tried to continue that at a new location. That's brilliant. Brilliant.
I want to make it even more. I want it to be weekly again at some point. But I'm now at almost 28 years old, fully much more aware of I have a big roster of people that all got to get paid.
Yeah.
And I can't expect anybody to work for free. And I'm not just talking about the wrestlers. Like, we get all the glory. We don't do anything. Like, the cameramen and women, the commentators, the people who do teardown setup, the people who haul my ring, the people who do everything. I mean, those are the guys and gals that I want to make sure they get money first. Then my out-of-towners, because they're driving the farthest. And this is all a budget thing. I'm trying to do this every week. I've got to find the right space with the right price. And it's going to happen. I know it's going to happen because it always happens. It's happened for 10 years. But now we have a steady place that we can have some fun monthly until we can do it weekly. And our crowd, they're patient enough because they know if we're saying we're going to do it, we're going to do it. Because you're only as good as your word. For 10 years, CHWA, for all the things we've done bad, we've never lied to our fans. We've always been direct with them. So.
Nice. That's wonderful, man. And congratulations. And, for folks out there who question it from time to time, why we have wrestlers on, maybe, they're musicians going, what? The wrestlers on again? We have been thoroughly impressed with the wrestlers and how they go about their business, right?
Yeah.
And I want to point something out, Pigpen. Cottage Hills Wrestling Alliance has 675 subscribers.
Wow.
Now, I've talked to you off air about, subscribing to YouTube channels and locally how difficult it is, to find that niche. We're sitting at like 343. I think Riverbender's just over 500. So look where that puts them.
Yeah.
And, they're concentrating on the same area that we're concentrating on. And to have 675. But I want to point out something else. Dynamo, they got like 493. Wow. The other one he mentioned, what was
WA.
it? Right, they got well over 500. So anybody that doesn't think this is a popular thing to do is not paying attention.
They've probably never seen it.
Right.
I know a lot of people, like, when I meet them for the first time, like, out in public, and I'm doing some kind of event, like, I went to the St. Louis Pride last year with the championship belt. A bunch of wrestlers walked around representing, and we had a bunch of people come up to us wanting to take pictures with the belt, right? And then after they would take the picture, they would be like, "So what is all this?" And then we would explain it to them. They'd be like, "Oh, like what we used to watch when we were kids," and they haven't seen it in years. So then those same people started coming out to the show. A lot of them from that parade, dude, they're every month now because they've found something within a 2-hour show that they can really hook onto. And I think if you go to a show 2-hour, anything 2+ hours, and you can't find something to be just hooked into, you're trying to be a critic. You know what I mean? Even things I don't like. Like, I went and watched the Barbie movie. That's not exactly what I wanted to do. I went with my cousins. It was a whole thing. But I found a couple lines in there. They popped me. They were funny. It was well written. I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of the idea that attitude is so much, because I do it all the time with my kids, my wife, where they'll pick a movie and I might have zero interest in watching this movie or doing. But if I go into it with a bad attitude, well, obviously I won't. Let's just make the best of it, man.
Exactly.
You know?
I think being a parent definitely clicks something in your head if you don't have it already.
Right.
Last year, I was in charge of taking care of some kiddos in like a parental role. And, man, I became very less selfish last year. I became less selfish of a human being. I don't know if it was just a natural thing or if I consciously would think about it and try to be less selfish, but yeah, man, kids, that changes you. That definitely changes you.
Well, you know, you're a lot easier to bend.
Yeah.
And go, okay, what do you want to do? Yeah, but forget what I want to do. You know, let's just
Less
put that
stubborn.
aside. Yeah.
Now, for the wrestling fans that are listening, anyone who knows anything about professional wrestling knows that St. Louis is huge in the history of wrestling. Maybe
at
one
the
of the
Chase.
biggest cities ever.
It is.
I mean, they're right in the center. Everyone came here. They crossed through. We had a weekly television show way back in the 70s when we only had 5 channels.
And it was still, I mean, with modern day streaming, it's a lot easier to get something on the air. But back when there was 5 channels and 24 hours in a day, you had to be something to get on TV. And Wrestling at the Chase was on every Sunday right out of St. Louis for all of my childhood.
It was
there,
good wrestling, too.
Right. Oh, yeah. It was really
good wrestling.
It was great.
And the folks that don't know the history, there was all these territories at one time. But like I said, all these wrestlers made it through St. Louis because they knew it was going to be a packed house. There were going to be fans here that loved this sport. And that's part of the reason that these companies like Cottage Hills Wrestling Alliance have thrived, because it's a big deal in this area. It always has been.
Guys like Harley Race, man, when the territories were running, just made it where this place built a kingdom here.
Oh, yeah.
He really built it where everybody could make money here.
Right.
You know, it's hard to make money with a market that is saturated right now, but, like, it's, if you're not in it for the money and you're in it to, like, make enough money to pay everybody, make a profit, just a small profit, and have a lot of fun, dude, St. Louis is the place. Yeah. I'm having a blast out here right now.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot with music, too. It gets overlooked as a rock and roll, a blues town. I mean, the history of rock comes straight out of St. Louis.
Yeah, but rock and roll was invented right here, and yet everybody just kind of blows it off like, you know, it's a great town, Memphis, you know, or what? And Memphis is a great town, but you know, it's funny. But like Dennis was saying, a lot of the old, especially like the old blues guys, St. Louis was a payday, man. They knew they would get to play to a full house, get a nice chicken dinner, get a little money in their pocket, and head on up to Chicago or down to Memphis.
And crowds are probably going to be hot, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
St. Louis has passionate fans, man.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go, blues game, hockey game, wrestling, anything. They're in it.
All right, so CHWA coming off a show this past weekend. I want to get into that and find out what happened, because the YouTube video is not up yet.
Yep.
I got to watch the New Beginnings video today, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. We'll talk about that in just a second, but I want to go over what's happening this weekend around town. And we'll start with Friday night in Trinitys Way open mic back pig pen.
Nice.
From 5 to 8 at Maevas at the old Milton School in Alton. So that's on Friday night.
Super happy to hear that was back. I know things were going real good, and they were getting to where a lot of people were showing up, and happy to see that one coming back.
Mila Duffey down at Morrison's this Friday night from 6 to 10, and it's Hideous Gentleman Night down at the Conservatory on this Friday,
right
8:30 till 11 for that. Piano's always down at Ragin, Cajun. Some nights they have bands, so definitely check the link there, cottonmouth.org, and make sure that's what's going on if you're heading down to Ragin. Up all night down at Fast Eddie's, 7:30 to 11:30. Everhart and Light at the VFW in Alton from 7 to 10. Soulshine Groove, 7 to 11 at Baker's and Hale and Godfrey. Denver Wade Trent out at Laux Brickhouse from 7 to 10 in Bethalto. The Tragg Band doing the Moose in Wood River from 7 to 10. Flip the Frog up at Tri-County Rod and Gun Club in Brighton from 7 to 11. Grand Pagano 6 to 9 out at George's Pub and Grill in Jerseyville on Friday. Rock Bottom down at Deutsch Village Inn both Friday and Saturday starting at 8:30 or whenever they get started, 8:30ish as they do it at Cottage Hills Wrestling Alliance. Rewind 7 to 10 at the Neighborhood Social Club in Pontoon Beach. Flip side at Patrick's starting at 8 in Granite. Open mic 8 to 11 at Manhattan Social House in Granite City on Friday night. Under the Influence. Where else? At a bar. Patty McDee's. Right. 8 p.m. to midnight for Under the Influence at Patty McDee's in Granite City. Open mic with Toxic Johnny and Merge 5, 7 to 9 at Wiggler's at Holiday Shores. And
they were a
fun
fun group.
Oh, man, the video did really well, too, so we're excited about that. They got tons of views, and that's awesome.
Yeah, they great group of youngsters there. And
Merge 5, all teenagers.
Yeah, 19
so,
was the oldest
cool
in the band. A couple of 15-year-olds in the band.
Oh, man. Does the heart good to hear that.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah. Mr. Blue Sky sold out at the Wild E. That's a ELO tribute. Yeah. Double Y Duo going to do Big Daddies around the corner on Friday from 6 to 9. Midlife 6 to 9 at the 1818 Chop House in Edwardsville. Strangers Duo 7 to 10 at the Moose in Edwardsville. Sweet Bottom Band out the cabin at Judy Creek and Glen Carbon from 7 to 11. Sean Garrett from Whiskey River, 8 o'clock at the Rustic in Warden, coming off Wardy Gras, which was a sold-out show for Ruby Lee once again.
Yeah.
Lazy Lester, 5 to 9 at Mel's Place in Mount Olive, and Experience Live Music Row happened down at in Belleville, right there on the Strip. Everybody's going to be playing. All the venues get together and create an experience of the music scene down in Belleville. So that's all taking place on Friday night. Of course, we got number 4 combo on Saturday night at the VFW in Alton. And Hillary Fitz, Tate Kelly, and John Brighton. $10 suggested donation at the Lodge at Lovejoy from 7 to 10 in Alton on Saturday. Fleetwood Family, 9 o'clock at the Conservatory in Alton. Pianos, 9 o'clock at Ragin' Cajun. Piano bar in Alton, or possibly a band. Check the link. Naked Soul, 2 to 6, and Up All Night, 7:30 at Fast Eddie's in Alton. Levi and McAtee out at Baker's and Hale from 7 to 10 on Saturday in Godfrey. The Retro Nerds doing the 80s stuff. 9 o'clock at the Pump House in Wood River and Pigpen. They're bringing back the acoustic. Remember they used to do like an early acoustic at the Pump House? And then, they're bringing that back starting in March. So.
Nice. Back to the double early band doing sort of an acoustic set, and then on the outside area, and then moving into the stage for the later rock and roll show.
You are correct, Mr. Pig.
Yeah, glad to see that's coming back.
Sparky's has decided to move it to the evening. They've been doing an afternoon slot. Now they're going to do 7 to 11 in South Roxanne. I've seen that now for a couple of weeks. Tim Elmore going to be playing in South Roxanne on Saturday. Tripwire up at the Tri-County Rod and Gun Club in Brighton from 7 to 11. Andrew Dahl, 6 to 9 at George's Pub and Grill in Jersey. And Synergy up at Grafton Winery from 3 to 7 on Saturday. I mentioned Rock Bottom doing the double Deutz on Saturday and Friday night. Southside Bluesy Boys at Tegan's in Granite City at 8. The scruffy-looking Nerf Herder. They'll be playing the Manhattan Coffee and Social House in Granite City from 7 to 10.
Okay, that don't sound right. It's the Manhattan's Coffee and Social House. It sounds very, Omar Sharif, very fancy.
Well,
and you got the scruffy looking nerf herder there. It doesn't. I don't think they're gonna let him in the door.
He's pretty much pulled up residency there. That's how I found out about Manhattan's Coffee and Social House.
It just seems like they're gonna be like, you don't have a sports jacket on. You're a scruffy looking nerf herder. You don't belong.
Matter of fact, they got an open mic as we mentioned on Friday night there. So they're trying to once again, Pigpen. I like this idea because not everybody wants to go drinking.
No, I'm not.
So it's kind of they do have drinks there, but they're promoting it as something maybe different than that.
I am not. Yeah, I am not. It's strictly the name. If it was George's Coffee House, scruffy looking nerf herder would be fine.
Right.
But the Manhattan's Coffee and Social House just sounds hoity-toity. It's not. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's perfect, but now the scruffy looking nerf herder seems like you ought to be playing, at the scruffy looking coffee house
or at the Death Star.
Yeah, at the Death Star, exactly.
Right. Jared Lutz, 7:00 at the Corner Tavern in Edwardsville on Saturday. Right. Mr. Blue Sky's back at the Wild
again?
Well, the 8:00 show is sold out. They have a 3:00 show that had one ticket left. So how about that?
So they sold out Friday, sold out the later show on Saturday, and then
that ticket's
congratulations to them.
Yeah,
that is tough.
Yeah, there you go, man.
Matt Heaton doing Big Daddy 6 to 9 on Saturday.
Yeah.
Jimmy Strickland around the corner at the Stagger Inn doing the what do they call that? Happy hour 5 to 8 at the Stagger Inn in Edwardsville. V. Agnes at Global Brew from 7 to 10. Bobby and Jimmy Rollins 7 to 10 at Laux Tavern in Maryville. Drew Lance and Guest, they're taking up residency at the cabin at Judy Creek, it looks like. With a Saturday show, though, he's been doing a lot of Sundays, 8 to 11 there on Saturday. Scott Marlin doing music trivia at the Fireman's Hall in Collinsville. Dave Horton, 7 o'clock at the Rustic in Warden. Power Trip all the way up in Highland. 9 o'clock for the return of Power Trip.
There's a wrestler in that, but at least one wrestler in that band.
Harsh.
Mm-hmm. That's right, Harsh.
Yeah, I know those guys.
I swore I seen him in the last video. Did I see him there?
Yeah, Harsh comes out to a lot of CHWA shows and hangs out because his former tag partner, Izzy Blackwell, was a huge mentor to CHWA.
Right.
So Harsh is always hanging out at the shows.
Yeah, I thought that was him.
He wrestles for PWE, and I think there might be one more. He's in a tag team with Izzy's son, Damian Blackwell.
Oh,
So
there you go.
cool.
Nice. Yeah, Harsh is a good dude.
Yeah, he is.
Beyond FM Showcase number 5 with Shaylin Rolfe. After Wednesday, the Rose Court and Gavin O'Brien and Mads and Company. That's a $10 in advance, $15 day of the show. All ages at Pops at 7:30. And kudos to Beyond FM 24/7 where they play all local music all the time.
And now doing local shows right along with it. So, yeah.
Of course, Experience Live Music Row continues on Saturday down in Bell Bell. And also out in Root House, here's a different one. Josh McVicker. He's a comedian, magician, and hypnotist. He's doing a benefit for the Whitehall Lions Club, a fundraiser. It's a $20 ticket for him. And then afterwards, Fat Kitty.
Okay.
You like Fat Kitty?
I do.
It's not as good as the Pussycats, but...
Well, Pussycat and the Swallowtails, that's my favorite band name so far out of the ones we've heard. But Fat Kitty's that's a good one.
That's up in Root House at Martin. Soulshine Groove up at the Super Bowl, Beserman Super Bowl in Staunton from 7 to 11. Hard Drive at the Halftime in Hillsboro, 8 to 11. Most of these guys sent me these gigs, and I want to point out, once again, thank you for sending us gigs because, I do a lot of research, but, if you're promoting your band, you might want to send me it. That's a good idea.
It's the easiest way.
Right. So I apologize if I ever miss somebody's gigs. It's just, I get a lot sent to me. So if you really want to make sure your gig's announced, just send it to us. No problem. Cottonmouth.org. There's a link and all that stuff in the description of the videos. So you guys know how to promote. Come on. Hard Drive, I mentioned at Halftime in Hillsboro. Harvest Drive, 9 p.m. at Chaps in Litchfield. And sometimes, Pigpen, I get those two mixed up.
Hard Drive and Harvest Drive.
That's right.
It's not many, very few letters change in those.
Right. Out at the Smokehouse in Pyron is Flipside. DJ Key and the Peace Lords, who always send me where they're playing. 7 o'clock at the Blueberry Hill Duck Room in St. Louis. And another Beyond FM presents The Cold Stairs with Jeremiah Johnson,
Yeah.
Leilani Kilgore, and Wise Mary. That's a $20 to $40 ticket at Red Flag in St. Louis. Beth Bombara sent me this. She's touring all over the country, mainly in the Midwest, but has been doing it for quite some time. Has a new album out. It's been out about 6 months. And she's playing at the City Winery in St. Louis. And Graham Pagano. I just check up on Graham all the time. That's how I found out he's playing Johnny's Hideout in High Ridge, Missouri.
He's not playing there. He's just hiding out there, man.
Okay, coming up on March 23rd will be the next Cottage Hills Wrestling Alliance match. Now, I told you I watched the video from New Beginnings, which was to kick off the new year, right? And here's what went down, Pig Ben. There's a couple things that went down, but the main event, I guess you would call it, was a free-for-all. Okay, I don't know how to explain this match, but here's what happens. Like, every so often, they do a countdown, and a new guy comes flying in, and I swear there were 20 guys. 30. I lost track. You lost track on the video.
Yeah, I started losing track after 11. It was hard. I was trying to commentate, talk to this dude next to me that I didn't like.
Yeah.
And have to watch this match because my brother, our tag partner, this new guy that just debuted that's also my cousin that I helped train is debuting, so I'm trying to watch him.
Right.
Yeah, I quit counting. The crowd did it for us. I didn't have to do it.
The guy sitting next to him was Alistair Crow.
Yep.
I'm going to say his name. I want to say you did an outstanding professional job with him.
Thank you.
You gave him kudos.
I tried.
Yeah. I know it was tough. That's why I bring this up. And he's even madder at this guy now because some stuff has happened since that night.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Some ugly stuff. You know, this guy's been injured now. How long you been out?
I had surgery on August the 14th of 2023.
So, like,
So
he claims to have had,
7
like,
months.
5 or 6 hernias.
Three. Only three. Only three, I promise.
I read on the interweb it was 8. I don't know.
Not the interwebs.
And, you know, so there's been some talk about him dodging people.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
They're not sure, you know.
That's what Crow thinks. That's what
Crow's saying.
Right.
Alistair Crow.
Even though before I got injured, I took the CHWA championship from here to Missouri to Indiana to Ohio and back to defend it. And Alistair Crow, since I had to step away, I guess wrestling has kind of caught up with boxing and mixed martial arts and the whole, if a champion gets hurt, they crown an interim champion now. And then eventually, I guess we're going to have to fight to unify these things. I want to do it now, but he doesn't want to do it yet. So I just want to make that clear. It's not a me ducking him thing. He won't fight me right now.
Okay.
Okay, so let me make sure I'm following the story.
Okay.
You are the champion. You've got the belt.
Still in.
But while you were on the injured list, Alistair Crowley.
He wishes he was that guy.
Yeah, but you take his name.
Crow.
Alistair Crow, Alistair Raven, Alistair Sparrow. No, I don't know. Alistair Crow. He shows up and
You should take him something shiny.
I got an idea of something I can throw at his head that's real shiny and weighs about 10 pounds.
Like a button. Right.
So while you're on the injured list, he shows up and he says, "Hey, you know what? The rules have changed. You don't just get to be champion sitting on the sideline. I'm crowning myself champion."
Well, so he won a match. It was a sanctioned match. The company allowed him to him and another guy to wrestle for an interim championship.
Okay.
Right, and so basically that championship is a placeholder until I'm not on the injured list anymore, and I'm not on the injured list anymore.
Gotcha.
So now we're in a dilemma where he is walking around calling himself the champion, and he's had some matches. He's had some really tough matches since I've been out. He beat Damian Blackwell. He's wrestled against Ricky Rodriguez, who's one of like the most just technically sound wrestlers in St. Louis. He's also a trainer. So to tell you how good he is, he's a trainer. I mean, he's had some tough matches, man. He's beat my brother Elride. Like, he's had some tough matches, but the matches that he's had, all due respect to everybody that he's wrestled, they're not me. And they have an off switch that gets hit, and I've been the champion for over a year because I don't have a button, and nobody can push my button even if I had one, and he's not gonna.
Right on. So we're getting a little intensity here because
that's just a smidge. I kicked his head off on Saturday, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, because I want to fill in the listeners and you what's led up to all this. No, speaking of Elrod, didn't he win the King of the Hill?
Yes, Elride did in fact win the King of the Hill, and
the 30-man.
Yeah, it's like a Royal Rumble.
Right,
if you're familiar with the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, like
yes,
you start off with 2 guys, and every 2 minutes
minute,
or whatever it is.
We use every minute, but I believe the WWE does like 90 seconds, like a minute and a half. But yeah, a minute is plenty of time. Yeah,
especially when you're getting 30 guys in there. It's 30 minutes just to get the last guy in,
and that doesn't include all of them got to go out, up and over the top rope with both feet hitting the floor. Yeah, it takes some time. It was right at about an hour.
So year. I don't know what happened over the weekend. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the last I heard, Maddie Monarch was a champion as well.
Yep, still is.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because I want to tell you about Maddie.
She's killing it.
Yeah. In this King of the Hill, Maddie's in on it.
All right.
There were 2 females in that, and that's not the new for Cottage Hills Wrestling Alliance because Maddie takes on men.
Nice.
Yeah.
She be whooping people's butts.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not talking any smack. I don't want her showing up at my door.
Oh no, man! Listen, I wrestled her last year, right before she won the international championship that she's got now, and she's got the MMWA Women's Championship.
Right.
And then that other girl that was in our Rumble, her name's Ashlyn Alexander. She has the Destination 6 Women's World Title. So yeah, a lot of people in that Rumble with some credentials, man, and they're just whooping butts.
And it gets down to like 5, right? Maddie's one of the 5, and like the 4 biggest dudes.
Oh wow!
In the place, and there was one other guy. Like I don't remember. It probably was Elrod. I'm thinking.
Elrod was
right.
In there.
So like all 3 of the big guys. Well, Maddie gets thrown over the turnbuckle. Literally,
Lightfoot just sent her to the moon.
Hits the post and goes down on the floor. Oh yeah, that's not real.
If you watch the video back,
wow.
We have like a commentary face cam. She goes up and I'm like, the whole time because I couldn't believe, dude. She was like, I can't believe she didn't go through the ceiling.
Yeah,
it's all graphics. It's all magic of the movies.
Right. There's a crash pad conveniently just there, right?
You can tell that's a computer generated version of her.
You know how earlier.
My back would feel so much better.
Right. My job just got easier.
That's right. All I have to do is talk now.
Oh, man.
You know how earlier the champ was giving kudos to his crew? They've got it set up so good with their TV thing they're doing that he actually has a monitor he's looking at. Because there's so many people in the ring, he's only got one view to look at while he's doing the commentary, right? But, I mean, to have a monitor set up while you're doing this, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
we use like a
I don't think
Scarlet box for a bunch of different audio sources, and each microphone and each camera has its own independent audio. Yeah, it's awesome. It's crazy. It's way above my pay grade. I just say, yeah, cool.
So then you have a producer over the top of this hand to decide what mic's being brought in, what camera shots being used. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. We've got him, and he also is our editor. So like, not only does he put the format together of like, how's the show gonna look, he goes through and edits everything. And we tried to like split the job up because it's a lot on him. And every time we do, he's like, just no, I'll do it. So
right. Well, and so to be
Josh,
to be a producer like that, even though the wrestling. The match might have been your vision. The alliance might have been your vision. He's an artist of his own type, and he has a vision of what he wants this to come out looking like. And if you give this to someone else to do part of, it's not what I've been picturing, man.
Right.
That I wouldn't have done it this way, and so as he's sculpting this.
That's what is so cool about CHWA. That's how I wanted it. Where like, okay, you know what? I know parts about wrestling, but I don't know anything about camera work other than how to film skateboard stuff. It's not wrestling.
Right.
So,
shout out to GoPro.
Yeah. And my camera, I had a buddy who was like, I know how to film action shots and stuff. I'm sure I could do this. And he started trying it. And then he started he learned how to stream on OBS to like Twitch and YouTube and stuff. And he just applied all this. And then he presented this format to me. And I was like, yeah, dude, whatever you want to do.
Nice.
So, and it's worked out great, obviously.
Well, and when you are putting on an event or are doing any big project, when you have a group that everybody knows what their job is, and you don't have to tell them, and they've got their vision of how they want it, and they've got their style, it makes it easier.
And when everybody has the same passion for what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, that's cool. So what was his name? What was the producer's name again?
Joshua Dillinger. Everybody just calls him Dilly. But he is incredible. And then another guy that helps out with all that, his name's Sadie Blaze. He's also a trainer at the Dynamo Dojo. Great guys, man. Just absolute top tier. And Dilly works for multiple different wrestling companies as a cameraman and an editor because he is so good at what he does.
Nice.
So this past weekend,
all right,
Domestic Disturbance.
Yes, sir.
Was the show. And a huge 6-man tag team bout was scheduled with the Dragons Guild. That's your group, but he was not scheduled to be in this fight. Okay. Instead, they pulled this guy out of nowhere. I guess not out of nowhere. Rancid.
Yeah.
Right? And he's not liking this.
That was Angelo's idea.
Okay.
Little brother. That was his idea.
All right.
And they're going to take on Aleister Crow, Masuka, and Parasite.
Makazi.
Okay, Makazi and Parasite, right?
Yes, sir.
They're called the Winds of Destruction.
Yeah.
So
and
tell
that's
us.
what they are too. This is the scary thing. They are just that.
Tell us what went down.
So, Ramsey tried to communicate with Dragon's Guild the best he could, but he doesn't have the greatest way of saying things. Things kind of broke down, and Dragon's Guild unfortunately did not get the W because Ramsey got pinned. But after that all happened, Aleister Crow and Makazi turned on the Parasite, beat him down, threw him out. Nobody knows why yet. And during the tag match, that was kind of something that everybody noted, was that they didn't tag in Parasite. They wouldn't do it. It was just Crow and Makazi. And so after Makazi threw Parasite out, I saw a window open itself up a little bit. And I just so happened to be there with my bandana that I always wear and my black hoodie and my black beanie that I'm wearing right now that I always wear. And I decided I was done dealing with Aleister Crow's BS. And so I got in the ring, gave him the what I would make the national bird if I was the president, which is the middle finger. And then he spun around. I think he recognized my eyes because that's all he could really see. And he tried to punch me in the face. I ducked, jumped off the second rope. Starlight kicked his brains out and then pulled the CHWA, the real CHWA World Heavyweight Championship out of my bag and presented it over his dead body. So that's what happened this weekend. Aleister Crow is going away. It is over for him.
Okay, so leading up to this, I forgot to mention that you ran into Aleister Crow. Now, did he use a weapon or something on you when he hit you?
Yeah, he hit me with a microphone. The end of it, like where the battery goes in, just right, got me right.
This is like days before the event.
Yeah.
Right.
It's about a week before.
Right, yeah.
It's like getting hit with a nightstick.
And partially I'll take the blame, because I went looking for the fight, but I don't know. I expect a guy who calls himself a world champion to maybe fist fight with some class, some honor, but I was mistaken, and hit me with a weapon and almost re-injured me. But thankfully I'm good.
So someone's got to pay for that microphone.
When can we check this video out? Is it going to come out? We're going to.
The video should be out, I think, now, actually. Okay. I think it should be coming out, like, sometime while we've been sitting here.
Okay.
Or maybe around 7.
Good. Because, like, if you want to check these guys out live, you can watch it online live, right?
Yeah.
Through the Patreon.com.
Well, so we don't do Patreon right now, actually.
Okay.
So we're doing a cool thing. Since we don't have the weekly show, we don't feel right making people online pay for a show that they're only going to get once a month, pay a fee for this thing where they're only going to get to see it once a month. Something about that at my core. And there's been people that have told me to not do this publicly, but at my core, I don't care about money. It's just not, I don't care. And I don't want to charge people for something online when they're only getting one show. Whereas beforehand on the Patreon, they were getting 4. So actually, every show that comes out right now, you can watch on our YouTube channel for free.
Nice. Okay.
For right now. Now that will change again soon when we go back to doing weekly shows, because then the product will be worth the price of admission.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had another championship match, the one-up champ, right?
Yes.
Which
Logan
was
Simmons versus Reinar, man. Logan was victorious. Crowd's really getting behind that kid.
okay. So was he already champion, or did
Yes,
he
sir.
win the belt? Okay,
Yes,
that's
sir.
what I thought.
Logan was the defending champion.
And what else was going down this past?
Had
week?
House X versus the Junkies for Fame in a tag match, world title tag match.
Okay.
And the House X, man, they're on a roll, and they managed to secure the victory over the Junkies for Fame. Jeremy Lightfoot had I don't even know what to call it. I want to call it a banger, but I feel like that word gets overused a lot. Him and this guy named Cardi, they tore it down enough where there was almost no roof left to blow. You know, they tore it down, man. Great match. There were so many. I don't want to like upset anybody and leave anybody out. Every match, Beast. The Beast had his retirement, or his second to last match. This Saturday will be his final match in Berwyn, Illinois, which is up by Chicago. But he wrestled Iorio from the Hillers, and Iorio and him tore it up. Beast was victorious in his second to last stop on the road, but Iorio did not come out of it looking bad, man. Iorio fought. To give context, Beast is 400 pounds roughly, and about 5'7", 5'8", and Iorio is right about 5'8", 100 and probably $180.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and they
quite
fought,
a difference there.
They fought for a while, man. Iorio fought back hard, so that's his whole thing, man. That dude, he's got the endurance, man. You can hit him with a car and he'll just smile and ask you to back and put it in reverse and hit him again. He just doesn't care.
All right, so as we mentioned, you can check out the Cottage Hills Wrestling Alliance on YouTube. Just type in that or CHWA, or you can check them out live, which is the best way to check them out. March 23rd, they'll be at the Legion in Edwardsville, then again on April 27th. Again on
that changed.
Did
April
that one
21st.
Okay.
Sorry. We had to change that because the American Legion had a thing they forgot about, so we had to change our April date. But that's okay, because I'm glad they told us now. We're getting ready to get our flyer out with the updated date. We just found out about it.
Okay.
So it'll be April 21st. It should be a Sunday.
Is the May date still on the 18th?
Yes.
Okay, and then the June date, the 22nd?
Yeah, all the other dates haven't changed at all.
And then July 27th and August 24th and some
then
more.
There's a September date that's going to get added within the next couple weeks. We're trying to iron out the last bit of details, and that'll be our big John Holt big show. That's the biggest show of the year, and that'll be the last Friday and Saturday of September.
But leading up to the March 23rd show, still tune into the YouTube channel because all the promos will be dropping.
Yep.
All the beef is going to be shedded, and these guys do some action in between.
A lot of stuff on our Facebook too.
You can see them get hit by the weapon leading up to this show to give you an idea of what they do. So there you go.
That hurt. That hurt bad.
And congratulations, man.
Thank you.
On everything you've accomplished. I mean,
I've had a lot of help, man. It is definitely not a one-man show. I've had so much help along the way from so many good men and women and people who don't even work for us anymore that have went on to other places. Man, it's such a cool thing. It's such a cool thing, and I'm very grateful for everybody that's had their fingerprints on it, including you guys, because you give us a platform to promote our stuff and come on here and talk about beating people up in our underwear. So it's pretty cool.
Beating people up.
We fight for a belt and we don't wear pants.
Are we going to see a title defense on March 23rd?
Well, I have got exclusive permission to drop this here first, actually.
All right.
I got the word that I'm going to defend my championship against IP Mason on March 23rd. And I have heard through the rumblings that it's going to maybe be Aleister Crowe versus Angelo Grimsley. They might be running it back. So he'll defend the CHWA Interim Championship. I'll defend the CHWA Championship. And we'll see who's still standing. Now in April, I really want to get my hands on Crowe. But if Crowe survives through March, Elride did select him as the guy he's going to challenge. So it'll be Elride versus Crowe in April if Crowe is still the champion. I hope he's not, but...
He got to select him because he won the King of the Hill.
Okay, there you go. There you go. Because he was last one standing out of 30.
Yep, he didn't actually throw everybody out, but everybody got eliminated. He had a pretty good amount of eliminations. Jeremy Lightfoot set the record this year, though, with 21.
Yeah.
21.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on a tear, man.
Chucking him out of the ring as fast as he could get his hands.
I was bummed out all day leading up to the Rumble. I'm like, man, this is the first Rumble in 10 years I'm not going to be in. This sucks. And then by the time I saw him eliminate like the 8th or 9th person, I was like, you know what? On second thought, I am okay with the fact I can't wrestle yet. Because I didn't want no piece of that dude.
Yeah, because I mean...
That's why I beat for the championship. I still don't want no piece of it. That dude was just...
if anyone who can throw 21 people out of a ring,
he's been doing this now for 26 years almost. He's retiring at our show in May. It's Jeremy Lightfoot's last match.
Oh, wow.
If I walk up 21 stairs, I'm winded. I need a break. I need to sit down. Chucking 21 people out of a wrestling
And he was
ring.
throwing 2 people out at a time. Like, he was just... And this is a guy who he's
juggling people.
He makes fun of himself. We all make fun of him all the time about he can't wrestle for more than 10 minutes because he's 41 or he's 40, about to be 41, I think.
We should take up a collection and get him a watch.
And he always says, I'm too old, I don't have the cardio. He eliminated 21 people.
Right.
So I don't ever want to hear you, Lightfoot. I never want to hear it again that you don't have the cardio. 21.
That's
the previous record was like 11.
Yeah.
11. He doubled it.
He pretty much doubled it. Yeah, that's well, again, I don't want to be in the ring with any of these guys, but if you can throw 21 people over the old top rope, that's
and he was in
good.
the final 4. He eliminated Maddie. He popped her through the ceiling. That was his final elimination.
He popped her to the moon.
He did.
Maddie.
Watch the video. He's pretty close to the truth there.
I'm serious.
She
And,
literally hits the pole above the turnbuckle.
I'll pull the curtain back for you. I was sitting there, and when I saw her go as high as she went, it made me completely get out of the performance and the show. Dude, I was watching human fly.
Yeah.
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
And then when she hit the ground, she hopped up, she ran to the back, and I was like, okay, that's not good. But thankfully, because we got a really great medical staff who were attentive and really good at what they do, she's fine. She got swellbo. I don't know if you're familiar with that term.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of swellbo, was gone the next day. She's good.
Yeah.
So our medical team was all over it. They put a huge ice pack around it, and oh yeah, man, it was.
Wow.
We can't let you get out of here without giving congratulations to the Godfather, your father, and Mr.
Man,
Mr. Wolf
I
as
wish
well.
he could have been with me tonight, man.
Right, both of them retired and are now in the Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, they're the only commentators in the Hall of Fame at CHWA, and it was just fitting. My dad, the Godfather, he was going to retire, and DW was like, you know what, if he's retiring, that's my co-host, I'm retiring too. And the company just felt like, DW hadn't been around. I think he'd been around for a little over a year and a half. But you know what? That's loyalty that you can't... That's Hall of Fame loyalty right there. So and he's a great color commentator. He is fantastic at what he does. So both guys, well-deserved. I love both of them. I'm so thankful that both of them still come to shows and are still around. DW actually just hopped on commentary at the last show. It's a little special guest commentator. Be on the lookout for that Hall of Famer.
I will.
So...
All right, man.
Awesome. Well, everybody get out and check out Cottage Hills Wrestling Alliance. Check them out on YouTube.
Got Facebook, too.
You got Facebook. You can check them out there.
We got
Find out
2,000 or 3,000 likes on that thing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, these guys are serious. We need to be on their show, Pigpen. They don't need to be on our show.
Right.
If it wasn't for your guys' show, we probably wouldn't have any numbers. You guys and Outside the Ring STL are some of the places that gave us our first shot.
Wow.
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man.
We appreciate you guys, man. Thank you. Thank you both.
Happy to be a part of it all, man.
So you know the record for highest attendance in wrestling history in America?
In America, off the top of my head, no. AEW just broke it for like globally. It was like 84,000 people.
Wow.
I think in America, it's probably got to at least be 70,000.
WrestleMania 32, Arlington, Texas, 101,763.
That's when all the little Hulkamaniacs were running wild.
I was thinking of that Detroit match back when Andre and Hogan.
That was huge.
That was like 80 plus, but it's not even in the top three.
I went to the Royal Rumble a couple years ago when it came through St. Louis, and there was like, I can't remember the arena over there, but it's massive. It's like a coliseum. And they said that night there was like 60,000 of us there, 50,000 or something. It was like half the arena was full. Yeah. They didn't even have I was like, dude, could you imagine that many people? Oh my God.
Yeah.
No way. Man, I've wrestled, like the most I've ever wrestled in front of was like 2,500 people. And I remember like, I felt like I was going to pee my pants before I walked out there. I was so nervous. I was like freaking out. So I couldn't imagine why 50,000 people. No way.
You block that out. You got to learn to tune the nonsense out.
I imagine once you get out there, it gets addicted. How it is like now, I'm addicted to being out there in front of 200 people. Right. So like, I can imagine.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming in, Chris Exodus.
Thank you guys for having me.
World champion, Cottage Hills Wrestling Alliance, founding member.
There you go.
Founding father, yeah, man. It's crazy. Me and Elright are the only two left wrestling right now. Yeah. Harlock, Jay Gold, and VDP are retired, so now it's just down to me and my brother.
Yeah.
So
the last of the original crew.
Yeah, man. But we got a lot of people that came into the backyard and are with us still. So a lot of good guys: Drew Carter, Iorio, Rick. And I know I'm going to leave people off. I might probably upset somebody. I'm sorry if I do. But I love all of them. I love all my CHWA guys, man. Shout out to all of them for making an 8-year-old dream and a 9-year-old's dream come true. Because me and Elright, that's what we wanted to do our whole lives. Now we're doing it. So shout out to everybody from start to finish that's ever been part of the company. Thank you, guys. All of you.
Appreciate it, man. And Pigpen, once again, we wrap up another edition of Riverbend Talent brought to you by the Halpin Music Company and by Mr. Matt Van Voorhis of Town Club, of Mr. Donut, of... Matt Van Voorhis gives his advertising away to his friends. So he's actually with Macias Insurance, but he usually wants us to say something else. So there you go. And everybody, if you want to keep track of what's going on, cottonmouth.org, the place to go. We've got all the shows linked there, including the Cottage Hills Wrestling Alliance shows.
Thank you.
And so there you go. You can find it. Now all you have to do is what, Pigpen?
Get out and support local music and art.